Durdle magic. Thank you for tuning in to Durdle Magic. Please subscribe and hit that notification bell if you like the content you see here today, and leave a like and share the video with someone you might think is interested. Leaving those likes really helps us out, but another way to help us out is by using our TCG Player affiliate link below. If you're looking for singles, sealed product, or gaming accessories, please consider using our link to support the channel. We also have some playmats at inkgaming.com. Go ahead and hit the link in the description to check those out. Alright, let's grab some spells and Durdle with some magic. Hello and welcome back to Durdle Magic. Today we're playing a partner pair of Sakashima of 1,000 Faces and Alena Trapper. My idea behind this deck comes into play abilities and blinking, plus I like clones, and this is probably the first red mana dork that does mana equal to a power, so it could be pretty good. Looking at our opening hand, yeah, that's not gonna work. We're going to mulligan. Looking at our new hand, we could risk it. There are about 39 lands in the deck, some mana rocks. Evolving Wilds does get us red, and in testing I've had a lot of problem with mono blue. So I think we can risk this one. A Swamp and a Serrated Scorpion into play for our first opponent, who is Sir Konrad the Grim. 3 black for a legendary 5/4 Human Knight. Whenever another creature dies, or a creature is put into the graveyard from anywhere other than the battlefield, or a creature card leaves the graveyard, this card deals 1 damage to each opponent. 1 in black, each player mills a card. Serrated Scorpion, when it dies, deals 2 damage to each opponent, you gain 2 life. Something I'm considering for some other decks. Our next opponent is Karona the False God. 1 in Wooburg for a legendary 5/5 Avatar. Haste, at the beginning of each player's upkeep, that player untaps Karona the False God and gains control of it. Whenever it attacks, creatures of the creature type of your choice get 3/3 till end of turn. Is it Guildgate into play for them? Coming over to our turn, our commanders are Sakashima of 1,000 Faces, 3 blue for a legendary 3/1 a human rogue. When it enters the battlefield, it enters as a copy of anything we control, except it also has its other abilities, and its other ability is the legend rule does not apply, so we can copy legendary creatures. Our other partner is Alena Trapper, 4 red for a legendary 4/3 with first strike, human scout. Tap to add an amount of red mana equal to the greatest power among creatures you control that enter the battlefield this turn, of course as partner, and this is where the blink kind of comes in for these two. Our turn gave us a Zet Signet. Let's do the Evolving Wilds. Crack it, go get a mountain. Mountain to play tapped and pass it off. So we will have 4 mana. That's really good. Get Sakashima down, get Thassa Deep Dwelling down. Not too much is going to happen just yet. We still want some of our other creatures to copy. We could get Alena down first, which is usually what we want to do more of. Temple of Mystery into play for our last opponent, who happens to be Kruphix, God of Horizons. 3 green blue for a legendary 4/7 enchantment creature god. Indestructible. If your devotion to green and blue is less than 7, it's not a creature. You have no maximum hand size, and if you lose unspent mana, that mana becomes colorless instead. We have a Baned Hound coming down, lifelink and haste for the Sir Konrad player on their turn. Sir Konrad on the attack. Alright, we take the Hound. The Scorpion is going off into the Karona player. Damage is good. Konrad gains 1 life. We take 1. Karona takes 1. Sir Konrad passes the turn, does not play a second land, so I hope they're going to do okay. Karona's turn, Azorius Guildgate into play, followed by Voltaic Key. Okay. Wonder what they're going to use that for. Comes to our turn, we get Impact Tremors. That's pretty good, but let's get down the Signet first. So Island into play. Tap 2, cast in as that Signet. And pass it off. Over to Kruphix. So I imagine Kruphix is going to be kind of the usual thing. Big mana, big green creatures, some control. Sir Konrad's starting out with a lot of 1-drops. So we'll have to wait and see. Sylvan Library coming out for Kruphix. Unfortunately, blue and red not so great on the enchantment removal. Over to Sir Konrad. Let's see if they drop a land this turn. For all I know, it's 1-drop tribal. I don't know. Sir Konrad on the attack again. Let's see, we're going to be taking the Scorpion this time. The Hound going off into Kruphix. Okay. Damage is good. Konrad to 42, we're to 38, Kruphix to 39. Alright, we have a sacrifice of the Scorpion. It will trigger. They use Village Rites as additional cost to cast a spell. Sack a creature, draw 2 cards. Instant, by the way. Konrad gains 2 life. Each of its opponents lose 2. Well, are dealt 2 damage anyway. That's it for Sir Konrad. To the discard, to the cleanup anyway. They do have to discard 1 card. Still no second land. Witch's Oven. Okay, so lots of 1-drops. Starting to wonder. We have Gruul Guildgate into play for Karona. Is it a Maze's End deck? They're going to untap our Zet Signet. That's very nice of them, I suppose. Karona taps down the rest of their mana and passes it off. Comes our turn. We get Meteor Golem. That will be good later, although I suspect we're going to need either Ghost Quarter or Tectonic Edge at some point. Let's play an island. And what do we want to do here? We could get down Sakashima, but it's not going to do anything. We could get down Thassa Deep Dwelling. Again, not going to do too much, although we do get the tap down effect that she has on the bottom there. I know not too many people might remember that. I know I don't. Yeah, so I suppose let's go ahead and get Thassa down. We're not doing anything else at the moment. Thassa Deep Dwelling into play, let's pass it off. Unfortunately, not getting too many of our low drop creatures. We do have a fairly decent amount of creatures in the deck, just not too many on the low end. Over to Kruphix, God of Horizons. The Sylvan Library will trigger, and I'll stop saying that until it's destroyed or removed. Eye of Ugin into play. Oh, I don't like seeing that one. It mentions Eldrazi, it summons Eldrazi. I don't like Eldrazi. On the bright side, we do have Corrupted Conscience in hand. So if they want to try anything funny, we can steal their Eldrazi and use it against them. We do need haste, though. That is a problem. Omen of the Dead, another 1-drop coming down for the Sir Konrad player. Alright, they get to return a creature card from their graveyard to their hand. No attack out of Sir Konrad this time. Alright. They have to discard again at the end step. Let's see what they discard. Swiftfoot Boots. Okay, so they do have more than one drops in the deck anyway. Over to Karona. They put in a Frontier, I believe it's pronounced Bivouac. Days Undoing. Each player shuffles their hand and graveyard into their library and then draws 7 cards. If it's your turn, end the turn. Okay, we could use some options and some land. Sure. Alright, everybody gets a fresh 7. Good for Konrad, good for us. Maybe not so good that Kruphix got a new 7, but we'll have to wait and see. It is our turn, so we did get a Zet Boilerworks. Cosmic Creativity is good. Bizarre Trader might be good later. We did get Meteor going back, so that's pretty good. Alright, so we have a few options, just not too much to follow up with just yet. Let's go ahead and play the Talisman of Creativity. And let's play Zet Boilerworks. We will bounce the tapped island back to our hand. And let's pass off the turn. Nothing else we can really do here. Keep up mana for Dualcaster Mage in case that becomes something we can do. Flood Strand into play for the Kruphix player. They crack it. Tropical Island into play for him. Nothing else for Kruphix this turn. They have to go clean up and discard something. Interesting. They discard Leyline of Anticipation. I wonder why they didn't play it. Over to Sir Konrad. A Swamp into play. Excellent. Serrated Scorpion coming back down to rejoin the battle. Village Rites also coming back. Okay, they sacrificed the Scorpion again. So it looks like the Days Undoing didn't quite shuffle our decks too well, it looks like. I don't know. I mean, we got back Meteor Golem. So maybe it picks one, I don't know. Banehound on the attack again. Where are they going to send it? They're sending it into us. That's unfortunate. We take 1. Sir Konrad gains 1. Font of Mythos coming out of the Karona player. We'll draw 3 cards a turn. That is a lot of cards, and I don't know if we would be able to keep up with the control between Kruphix and Sir Konrad. Comes to our turn, we get Whirlwind Denial. One of the few counter spells in the deck. That might be useful. We'll draw 2 additional cards. We get Grenzo Havoc Razor and Inferno Titan. Interesting. Although Kruphix has all their mana up, I'm really worried about counterspell. Don't know what to do here, but let's go ahead and play an island. I think maybe we start small, keep Dualcaster Mage up, try build up to when we can drop Inferno Titan and the Dualcaster Mage to counter a counter. Might be what we're doing here. Let's go ahead and do Grenzo. And then we'll go ahead, use the remaining mana on the Signet to filter, and Bizarre Trader. And we'll pass it there. Mana up for a counterspell or a Ghostly Flicker as needed. Thassa will trigger. We will not target anything. There's no reason to blink anything in and out just yet. Oh, we have a response out of Kruphix. Let's see what they're doing. Harrow. They are going to go get some more lands. Do we want to counter that? No, I don't think we do. Alright, over to Kruphix's turn. Sylvan Library and Fawn Mythos both trigger. They have been paying a lot of life into the Sylvan Library. They are down to 22. Wonder if they're going to bother with the font out. It kind of replaces all the draws that they would have to pay 4 life for. Okay, they do not pay any life this time. I hadn't mentioned it earlier because I said I wouldn't, but it might be relevant. They're almost half dead. We have a Blighted Woodland plus a Soul Ring coming down for the Kruphix player. Blighted Woodland is getting cracked. They're going to go get 2 basics. They tap down the rest of their mana and pass it off. Over to Sir Konrad. Let's see what else the deck might do. They are finally getting some lands. Foulmire Knight coming into play for them. They are playing it as a creature. Dreadmulkin coming down. Zombie Cat has Menace. Again, more 1-drops. I mean, there aren't any 1-drop Swiftfoot boots, so I guess that's the exception. Banehound on the attack, off into the Kruphix player. Over to Karona. Nice slow start to the game, but I'm expecting big things. We all have 7 cards in hand, so it is somewhat unknown what will be happening. Sorry, Karona has 9 after the Font of Mythos trigger and the draw. Dimir Guildgate into play. Still really suspicious of that. Spear of Safety. Alright, they only control 1 enchantment when this comes down, so we only have to pay 1 to attack them. But it's still, you know, a taxing effect that might cost us, depending. Comes to our turn, Mountain for the draw. Mythos trigger. We get Temple of the False God and an island. Let's go ahead and play the Temple. Don't need double red all that much just yet. Plus we have the Signet and the Talisman, so it's not too much of a problem. So we are 1 mana short of keeping up mana for either Dualcaster Mage or the Ghostly Flicker or the Whirlwind Denial. We could play the Meteor Golem and blink it after the fact, but we'd be taking a huge risk. So I'm thinking here, probably Inferno Titan, and that way we have the mana up otherwise. Alright, no counter. We get to deal damage to stuff. Let's go ahead and kill the Lifelink Hound. Then we'll deal 1 damage to the Kruphix player and 1 damage to the Karona player. Okay, let's go to combat. Let's swing the Grenzo. Yeah, let's swing it at the Kruphix player just because they probably have a lot of big spells. Exiling something off the top of the deck might be good. Damage is good. We get a trigger. Courser of Kruphix. Well, it's on theme. I don't want to cast it. We'll leave it in exile and let's pass it off. Alright, we get a blink trigger. Let's do Inferno Titan. Let's take out the Foulmire Knight. And we'll deal 1 damage each again to Karona and the Kruphix player. Damage is good. Alright, we do have to discard. Let's discard an island. Alchemist Refuge into play for Kruphix. That'll be pretty good. Still don't know why they pitched the ley line necessarily. That's it for Kruphix. Okay. To the cleanup step. Let's see what they discard. 9 cards in hand for Kruphix currently. They discard Bounty of the Luxa and Victory Chimes. What does that do? Untap during each other player's untap step. A player of your choice adds colorless. Something maybe for Yurlok. So Konrad's turn, Swamp into play. Severed Strands, an additional cost to cast a spell sack creature. Gain life equal to its toughness to destroy target creature and opponent controls. That's our Inferno Titan. That's not cool. So let's respond. Let's use Ghostly Flicker on the Titan and Grenzo. Ooh, we have another response. Alchemist Refuge, okay, out of Kruphix. Grow from the Ashes, kicked. Kruphix going to get more lands. Ghostly Flicker goes to resolve. Hopefully no counter magic. Now we have another response out of the Kruphix player. Rites of Flourishing coming down instant speed as well. Alright, we get a blink. Let's go ahead and deal all the damage to the Sir Konrad player. And Inferno Titan is safe, at least for now. Feed the Swarm. They are going to destroy a creature anyway. Sad face. Oh, nothing we can do about that. Alright, over to Karona. That was unfortunate. But what can you do? Bajuka Bog into play for the Karona player. They are targeting us. Yeah, that's more unfortunateness. We are the only people playing any threats at the table though, so I can see why that's happening. Mikokoro into play. Mizizium Transreliquant. I haven't seen one of those, or sorry, Transreliquat. I've not seen one of those in forever. It is an artifact for 3. 3, it becomes a copy of target artifact till end of turn, and 1 blue-red, it becomes a copy of target artifact, except it also has this ability. It's the Azet's It's kind of like their thing versus a Sun Forger. Basically was their guild artifact. It's becoming a copy of Soul Ring. Standstill. When a player casts a spell, sacrifice Standstill. If you do, each of that player's opponents draws 3 cards. Okay, that's pretty interesting. Comes our turn. We get to draw 4 cards. Total, anyway. Pyroblast into our hand. We get 2 more lands. And a 3rd land. Getting a lot of lands. On the bright side, gives us room to cast stuff. Let's play a mountain and an island. Let's go ahead and play Meteor Golem. Doesn't look like anyone will be able to respond, but you never know. They do, in fact, sacrifice Standstill. Each of my opponents will draw 3 cards. Meteor Golem triggers. Let's destroy the Sylvan Library. Okay, and then let's cast our commander, Sakashima of 1,000 Faces. He'll come into play as copy of Meteor Golem. We get another trigger. Let's destroy the Rites of Flourishing. And let's go to combat. We will hit the Kruphix player for 2 and the Konrad player for 1. Alright, we have some triggers. We will exile 1 card each from our opponents over there. Emrakul the Promised End, that's a good hit. And a land, I suppose. Alright, let's pass it off. We get Thas as a trigger. Let's go ahead and do Meteor Golem. We'll hit the Spirit of Safety. Spirit of Safety down. Pass it off. Ulvenwald Hydra coming down for the Kruphix player. It will be a 10-10, but then an 11-11. It gets any land out of the deck onto the battlefield. Probably not a Field of the Dead, but it might be. It is a Reliquary Tower. Alright. Misty Rainforest into play for the Kruphix player. It gets cracked. Breeding Pool into play. It comes into play tapped. Over to Sir Konrad. Basalt Monolith coming down. Okay. Gonna have to keep an eye on that. Eye Collector. When it deals combat damage to a player, each player mills a card. Plague Crafter. That's unfortunate, but I think we know what we're going to sacrifice here. Bazaar Trigger's not doing too much for us. Sir Konrad to the cleanup. Let's see what they discard. Sir Konrad discards Tammet Chosen of Death, I believe it's called. From Death, sorry. And Cauldron Familiar. Over to Karona's turn. They are still sitting on 4 guild gates. And it still has me a little bit worried. 12 cards in hand after the draw in the font. They play their own Soul Ring to the battlefield. And a Mana Vault. Okay. Voltaic, he will untap the Mana Vault. Final Judgment, exile all creatures. Well, I'm glad our god's not a creature. Oh well. Goodbye, Meteor Golem. We will put Sakashima of 1,000 Faces back into the command zone where he belongs. Although, to be fair, is it a he or a she? No one really knows. Could be an alien. Plaza of Harmony comes into play. It's not a gate. If you control 2 or more gates, they do gain 3 life, though. Add 1 mana of any type of gate you could control could produce, so it does offer some color fixing. Also, I wonder who the angel is. Enlightened Tutor out of the Karona player. Alright, they do have to reveal, so let's go take a look. They get Sunbird's Invocation. Mikokro, each player draws a card. They'll draw Sunbird's Invocation. Let's see what we get. Porphyros, God of the Forge. That has some pretty good synergies. Sunbird's Invocation coming down. Comes our turn. For the draw, we get Impact Tremors. Might play that over Porphyros. Might. Then we get Vandal Blast and Soul Ring. Vandal Blast will help us a bit. Seems good. Let's play Mountain. Then we'll tap Temple of the False God, play Soul Ring. Our Soul Ring is not quite like the others. And then we'll tap Soul Ring, red, another colorless, and let's go ahead and play Vandal Blast on Overload. Artifacts down. Okay, so probably Impact Tremors or Porphyros. Leave up mana for the Whirlwind or Dualcaster Mage. Kind of the same plans before. I figure Porphyros just because it gets us going along faster and wait for a counter maybe. So let's go ahead and do that. Porphyros, God of the Forge. I've wanted to use these two together forever. Okay, let's pass it off. End of turn. We have a Growth Spiral out of the Kruphix player. Gaia's Cradle into play for Kruphix. That's interesting. Nothing out of Kruphix during their turn. Still waiting on that Alchemist Refuge, I suppose. Konrad's turn. Another Swamp into play. 8 cards in hand after the draw. Duress. I guess they get to take a look. At least they can't get rid of the Dualcaster Mage. They get rid of Pyroblast. That's unfortunate. I was kind of hoping to use that, but we still have our regular counterspell and Dualcaster Mage and Reigns of Power, so that's pretty good. Looks like they picked the wrong one. I guess they tried to go for impact tremors, I'm not sure. Call of the Death Dweller. Return up to 2 target cards with converted mana cost 3 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. Put Death counter on either of them, then put a menace counter on either of them. Okay, so they'll get back Cauldron Familiar and Serrated Scorpion. Each opponent loses 1 life, and they gain 1 life when the Cauldron Familiar comes into play. Cauldron Familiar will get the Death Touch. Scorpion will get the Menace. Bankrupt in Blood, they sacrifice both. Scorpion will trigger, so this has an additional cast to cost this spell. Sacrifice 2 creatures, draw 3 cards. That's it for Konrad. Up to the cleanups. Let's see what they discard. Over to Karona's turn. They do have Sunbird's Invocation out. Just Barrelin coming down. Sunbird's Invocation will trigger. Do we want to do anything about that? Probably not. In case they cast something big, we can counter both the triggered ability and the spell itself with Whirlwind Denial, as long as they don't have the mana to pay the 4 per thing. So I think we'll leave it up for that. Each player draws a card. Jace Barrelin being activated. We get Spellseeker. That could be pretty good. We have Bring to Light. So it has Converge. Search your library for a creature, instant, or sorcery with converted mana cost less than or equal to the number of colors. So I think we will counter this here. Whirlwind Denial. Let's see them pay if they have it. I don't think they do. Alright, everything gets countered. Karona taps it down and passes it off. Comes our turn. We get Peregrine Drake. Alright, so something to shove infinite mana into if we need to. I don't think I have anything for that just yet, though. Let's go ahead and play an island. And then we will play Impact Tremors. And then I think let's go ahead and cast our commander. Well, our other commander anyway. Alena, Kessig Trapper. We have triggers. Each of our opponents will be dealt 3 damage, 1 from Impact, 2 from Pulveros. Alright, let's go ahead and play Peregrine Drake, because why not? We have more triggers. Let's untap some lands. Our opponents will each take 1 damage, and then they'll take 2. Play Spellseeker. More triggers. We will tutor for an instant or sorcery that costs 2 or less. Don't necessarily want to do Twin Flame, although that would kind of get us the game, though, wouldn't it? We could do a Braid, Cyclonic Rift. I guess we'll get Twin Flame. And then we could play Dualcaster Mage just to take out the Kruphix opponent. But I'm going to leave them out instead. We do have the trigger from Thassa, so let's just go ahead and do that. Thassa Deep Dwelling. Let's play it on Peregrine Drake and blink it in and out. Triggers are happening. So this should take care of the Kruphix player unless they have something like, was it Trick Bind or Disallow? And Kruphix goes down. Dodged every Eldrazi, I'm wagering, but unfortunately they didn't get to play much. Over to Sir Konrad. Gorging Vulture. There's the battlefield. Mill 4 cards. You gain 1 life for each creature card. Put into your graveyard this way. Liliana's Triumph. Each opponent sacrifices a creature. If you control a Liliana Planeswalker, each opponent also discards a card. Alright, so we could make them sacrifice a creature by casting Dualcaster Mage. But what do we want to sacrifice otherwise? Actually, we could just do Reigns of Power. That would save all of our guys, although it's kind of a waste, but I don't see really anything else developing at the moment. So sure, why not? Reigns of Power will target the player, Sir Konrad. Alright, this is a little bit tricky because they could just sacrifice our stuff, but now we just have to sacrifice their own creature. They could also potentially attack us with our own creatures. They all have haste. Kaya's Ghost Form. Witch's Cauldron. 1 black, tap, sacrifice a creature, you gain 1 life and draw a card. Glad they don't have mana for that right now. Kaya's Ghost Form does kind of screw over our plan for blinking Peregrine Drake at all, because if we blink it, it goes into exile, and Kaya's Ghost Form will bring it back under their control. Konrad on the attack with our creatures. All of it into us. Yeah, I kind of figured. We're down to 23. Oh, Gaia's Ghost Form fell off. Not sure why. Oh, it's because it has to enchant something they control and they no longer control it. Okay, so another interesting thing with Kaya's Ghost Form. We're over to Karona's turn. Target player draws a card. Karona targeting themselves. Gilded Lotus coming down for the Karona player. Sunbird's Invocation will trigger. We don't have any responses for that. Copy Enchantment is the thing. They could potentially copy our gods, and that wouldn't be the best. Oh, they copy Sunbird's Invocation. Okay. Phyrexian Metamorph. Sunbird's Invocations will trigger. Smothering Tithe. No response to that either. And Sylvan Scrying. Search your library for land card, reveal it, put it to your hand, then shuffle your library. It does get any land. Oh, I hope that's not a Maze's End kind of deal. Phyrexian Metamorph into the battlefield. I'm thinking Paragon Drake? Maybe Spellseeker. Oh, or Gilded Lotus. They need all the mana, that's right. So, another big spell coming out of that, my wager. Descend upon the Sinful. Exile all creatures. Delirium. Create a 4/4 white angel creature token with flying if there are 4 or more card types in your graveyard. Yeah. Can't respond to that either, unfortunately. Amulet of Vigor they get on their first Sunbird's Invocation. Assemble the Legion on their next one. That's pretty good. All creatures get exiled. We'll put Alena back into the command zone. Hey, land into play. Amulet of Vigor will trigger. It was a Mystic Monastery. Council's Judgment. Starting with you, each player votes for non-land permanent you don't control. Exile each permanent with the most votes or tied for the most votes. Not looking good. Sunbird's Invocation will trigger twice again. Nothing on that one. Copy Artifact. Alright. Let's see what's going to copy. I imagine a Gilded Lotus? No, Amulet of Vigor. Okay. We'll choose Witch's Cauldron. I'm pretty sure one of our gods is getting nuked here. As long as we can hang on to either Impact or Porphyros. I think next turn we need to go Infinite. I really don't like to win that way necessarily, but I also don't want to have my whole deck dismantled repeatedly. Oh, okay, they all tied. Well, we still have Impact Tremors. Thassa and Porphyros are gone, a sadness. Comes our turn, we get Ghost Quarter. We will not pay for the Smothering Tithe trigger. Let's play a Ghost Quarter, sure, why not? Alright, let's go ahead and play Sakashima the Imposter. It will cost us 6 mana, though. Did tap 1 extra mana there, but that's okay. Impact Tremors will trigger. Okay, let's go ahead and cast Twin Flame. Hold control down so we retain priority. Target Sakashima. And then we will use Dual Caster Mage. And there we go. As long as we don't screw this up, we go Infinite. Impact Tremors will trigger. Dual Caster Mage will target the Twin Flame. We will choose Dual Caster Mage for the secondary target. More triggers. And so on and so forth. We will select Dual Caster Mage again. And I will explain to our opponents that we are going to go Infinite. Alright, the Karona player concedes the game. Let's go ahead and keep stacking this out. Still waiting on a response from the Konrad player. And they concede. Good game to our opponents. It was a bit harder than I anticipated with some of my empty fields. So our deck might need a little bit of a revamp. And I still think we dodged a lot of Eldrazi. I don't know, it's just a gut feeling. Maybe I don't understand. I'm going to give the props this game to the Sir Konrad player. 1-drop Tribal in EDH. Yeah, I give props for that deck. You do. And it was running pretty well. Alright, so we got 1 point for the win. Everyone else got 1, and 2 off to the Karona player. They did help out a bunch. Let's go take a look at the deck. Okay, here's the deck. I've always wanted a blue and red blink deck. Blue, red, white can also be done, and initially that's what I was going to do with Bruce Tarl, but I didn't have a Bruce Tarl. Go figure. And I'm not spending $8 on a digital copy. So for this partner pairing, we have Sakashima of 1,000 Faces and Alena Kessig Trapper. So what they do for the deck is Sakashima should be obvious. It's a clone, it clones stuff. We get double of something we need, and the legend rule doesn't apply in case we have to copy something. Maybe we want to copy Thassa if it's, Devotion is up, or Porphyros, or Kiki Jiki's in the deck, stuff like that. Alena is a bit of, well, a replacement for Bruce Terrell. Of the red partner commanders, she best suited the deck, and it does give us a lot of red mana if we need it. If we can manage to draw a lot of cards like we did that game, although not from our own sources, we can play something huge, maybe Inferno Titan, maybe Warstorm Surge, maybe Molten Primordial, drop that for just tapping a creature or supplementing that, and there you go. And it does say, tap, add an amount of red equal to the greatest power among creatures you control that enter the battlefield this turn. So that's going to be great with the Flicker effect because we can always, assuming our people survive, blink our biggest guy, get 3, 4, 5, 6 red to our mana pool. Plus she has First Strike, which isn't too shabby. As for the deck itself, I do use some other cloning effects. I have Dax Duplicant and Spark Double. Not necessarily something you need, but I do like having them in the deck. Dax Duplicant being a favorite of mine. Spark Double can also copy other legendary creatures, so it's kind of another Sakashima in the deck. I do not yet put in a Panharmonicon. I don't know that I necessarily want it or need it because the deck still is not white-blue, so it doesn't have as many blink effects, but we'll see how it goes. Along with those blink effects, we have Thassa Deep Dwelling, we have Illusionist Stratagem, we have Ghostly Flicker, Displace, and we have Teferi's Time Twist. So not too many flickering effects, Thassa being the best in the deck. We also have the combo, of course, with Dualcaster Mage, Cackling Counterpart, and or Twin Flame, and that gives us infinite Dualcaster Mages. Plus, again, they kind of just make another ETB effect. You clone something, make a copy of it, and you get another ETB. Inferno Titan, Meteor Golem, Torrential Gearhulk, stuff like that. We also have Deadeye Navigator, the premier blink creature, so that's also in here. So between all of them, Thassa is probably the most resilient just because it's indestructible and hard to remove as long as it's not active. To win the game, we deal direct damage, powerful impact turns. We also have Inferno Titan, Warstorm Surge, Terror of the Peaks. A lot that comes into play, triggers on power abilities, damage to your opponents. And then at the top end, we have some other stuff, and kind of down towards the 4 slot too. The clones are kind of a stealing effect because you're copying their stuff. We do have Karizev's Expertise. We do have Zealous Conscripts. We have Kaiga the Tidestar. We do have 1 or 2 sack outlets in the deck. So there's also those things, because if we do manage to take control of somebody's creature, which is not a main part of the deck, but it can help out, we can then blink it and keep it for ourselves via Thassa, via Ghostly Flicker. We can also do it with Deadeye Navigator. It just takes extra mana to do so. So there's the deck. Let me know what you think. If you saw any cards in this video that you want to purchase for yourself in paper, sealed product, or sleeves, please consider using the TCG Player affiliate link in the description below. It doesn't cost you anything extra, and I'll appreciate the support. And I'll see you for the next part of this series featuring Sakashima and Alena.